Greetings, motherfuckers and motherfuckettes. This will be a book review. The book is entitled Venus, the Dark Side by some wimpy guy in the UK and his fat wife. Now, this book was recommended to me by One Red Rubber Ball. I got my first, shall we say, red pills from experience and from the Bible. An example, Ecclesiastes 7:28, there are no upright women. He, however, One Red Rubber Ball, had said to me that he got one of his first red pills from this book. And I'm going to give it a light red rating. It's kind of marriage, make it work even though you're in danger, pick the right one kind of approach. Which I am no. No. But it's pretty good for starters. I mean, for elementary stuff. So what's up, One Red Rubber Ball? He doesn't make videos, but he is, I guess you could call him an old school MGTOW. He's an OG. Alright, but chapter 1 from Venus the Dark Side goes like this. Well, I'm just going to pull stuff from the chapters and I'm going to smash. So, only 5% of rape cases, said this chapter, lead to a conviction of the rapist, meaning that 95% of accused men go free. Now, that is a very feminist claim in this anti-feminist book, but I do want to say that I believe that the other 95% out of the 5% of them get convicted. The other 95%, I believe, are false accusations, because if anyone pays any attention, if a guy gets even accused of rape, there are other guys lining up to beat him up, kill him, you know. And then in jail or in court, it's no better. It's actually worse, probably. So my guess is they had no evidence whatsoever, you know, not even a little bit, or they would have convicted. So that's a trumped up statistic based on false accusations. Oh, how the plot does thicken, like 3-day-old pea soup. Okay, so chapter 2 covers how women abuse men. As an example, 70% of non-reciprocal or one-directional, one party only, domestic violence is perpetrated by women. 70%. All right, women hit first in almost every case. Personal experience again accounts for that. Naturally, mention of feminism was made, but nothing was mentioned about all women benefiting from feminism through affirmative action or positive action in Europe, employment and scholarships, and through selective service or conscription immunity for women only, brought directly by feminism. Women don't jump up and demand the government take away their unearned privileges, so they're feminists. I mean, you don't accept a bribe from the cartel and then say, oh, I'm not part of the cartel. Well, you kind of are, okay? You really kind of are. So, chapter 3 was full of extreme gold digger stories. Notice I said extreme. All women, I believe, are hypergamous gold diggers, okay? If a man married a woman for his money, he's a scumbag. But if a woman does it, she's concerned for her children's. You see? Notice I didn't say his children. Chapter 4. This chapter was centered around mental illness among women who happen to have the highest prevalence of mental illness of any biological sex. The book also said that roughly 70% of all sociopaths grew up in a fatherless home, like both of my psychopathic parents. Go figure. And I don't mean that hyperbolically. They really were legitimately certifiable psychopaths. My dad, a violent, malignant narcissist. My mom, an overly passive person with multiple personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder. They're psychopaths, both of them, okay? Let's see here, where am I? Okay, so, blah, blah, blah. Okay, chapter 5. Among many other things, alludes to palimony laws, which is alimony with a lack of marriage, and court-ordered spousal support. Women benefit from over 96.5% of such arrangements in the United States of America. Alimony and spousal support. And that's not even counting child support. 96.5% of the time. Chapter 6 is about divorce. Approximately 57% of divorces, or 57% of marriages end in divorce, and about 70% of those divorces are initiated by the wife. caveat is that it's 69% is filed by the wife. Unless there's a female breadwinner, then it's 75%. But these are actually statistics for the UK. So you can see there are UK, US, women are women. All right, so this is chapter 7. Goes over how women, and not men obviously, use children as weapons, especially when the women inevitably get custody. I forget what it is, but it's like almost all of them women get the custody because of the tender years doctrine and so forth. Let's see, but so 40% of women in the UK survey held that of single mothers, 40% of single mothers admitted to using visitation denial as to punish the father. Personal experience is probably 100% of them. And yes, like I say, I've experienced women doing that. I myself have been beaten and starved and interrogated multiple times for my dad's ex-girlfriend's shenanigans. She would play steal the baby, me and my youngest brother, and I would play the scapegoat punching bag. So let that be a lesson to you. Chapter 8 is all about protecting oneself from a small group of cruel and toxic women who are backed up by society and the judiciary. But, much like the feminism boogeyman, it leaves out that all women can do that and get away just as clean as a psychopathic, toxic woman who you shouldn't have picked. As they say, pick better. Well, what happens when my good Christian wife decides, oh, nope, I can just say he beat me and the children's, and I get all the money. And then I go find another good Christian husband, and then nobody says anything because the pastor thinks that he was beating on me. You see? Same women. So, chapter 9, or that was chapter 8. Chapter 9 covers getting away from a breakup, but the thing is, it's not really up to the man. You know, if it's a woman and he's got a man after her, she can files this, violence against women, that, she can protective custody, shelters for women, for abuse and stuff. They have no abuse shelters for men. If it's a man and he wants to get away, if he gets away, it's because she let him get away without going to prison. So, yeah. Chapter 9, sorry. You're out of here. See what I said in chapter 8. Chapter 10, I'll sum it up with, this was the most positive chapter, right? I'll sum up the chapter 10 with the following quote from the book. The best racing car drivers focus all of their attention on where they want the car to go, not where they don't want the car to go. If you had made a conscious effort to look down the track and not at the wall, you would have dramatically improved the chances of making that corner. Essentially, eyes on the prize, gentlemen. So, chapter 11 goes into how to silence one's inner critic. For the record, I think your inner critic's there for a reason, and really, the only people who benefit from somebody who's not critical of themselves are other people. Like, okay, if you're overly critical, you may become negative, but you may become negative simply because you're in a negative circumstance. So I've noticed a lot of people, oh, be happy, you got to be positive. Those are people trying to control someone else for their benefit, not the person's benefit, but their own benefit. Why? Because nobody wants to be around that. So you got to be positive because I don't want to be around negative. That's what it comes down to. So I say if your inner critic is being negative, be negative. If other people are uncomfortable, good. That means that they are too mollycoddled. So I'm negative around people and I criticize it up. The book goes, okay, so, and it also goes over self-esteem. To me, self-esteem is an illusion. It also says that to do no harm. Yeah, I'm not a pacifist. Sometimes harm's the way to go. To me, self-esteem is like the Dunning-Kruger effect. High-esteem people are basically just, praising themselves unduly. Low-esteem people are realists. So, like the Dunning-Kruger effect. But alright, this has been The Furious Nevermind. I'll leave you all with the following quote from Drew Capuchin in Path of Power, or Path of Destruction, rather, from Star Wars. Equality is a myth to protect the weak. Some of us are strong in the Force, others are not. Only a fool believes otherwise.